this is Kim with Mom's Creative Moments. Welcome back to my channel and another lesson in Scrapbooking 101.5. Today we are going to talk about all the different aspects of a Creative Memories project recipe. And I'm going to walk you through the newest one, which I'm going to release tomorrow in a how-to video where you'll actually see me put the whole project recipe together. But today we're just going to talk about how I make the decision of which papers to use and what you're looking at when you look at a project recipe, what the different pictures mean and what the different prompts and information helps you to do, and then some different options that you might want to consider when creating a project recipe. It should be really fun, and well, it should at least help you learn better and be able to create these beautiful layouts in a much easier way. So let's check out my workspace and we'll get started walking through that. All right, so what I have out on my desktop is the new Denim Revival collection that just came out last month, and the project recipe that goes along with this collection. So I'm just going to walk you through a little bit of what this is all about. A project recipe is just what it says it is. It's a recipe for completing a project, and much like any of your recipes that you might use in your kitchen for soup, for instance, you can modify a project recipe however you want to. So if there's something about it that you don't like and you want to leave it off, leave it off. If you want to change it, turn it, add another 3 photos to the layout, do it. You can modify it however you want to and make it your own. You can also follow it exactly to the letter how the home office has designed it. It's really up to you and how you want to do it, or up to you and what kind of supplies you have available to you. So sometimes that makes a big difference. I have a brand new pack of paper, a brand new pack of embellishments. You know, all of this is new. I haven't used any of this collection yet. So it'll be very easy to just go, I'll take this one, this one, this one, and I'll be ready to go. But sometimes when you're using an older pack of paper that maybe you've used a few sheets out of, it can sometimes be a little bit more tricky to choose just the right papers that you want. So I just thought I would talk to you a little bit more about this. A project recipe is going to have 2 sheets. It's going to have the main sheet with a photo of a finished layout, and right below it is going to be a sketch that is color coded to match your cutting guide, which is usually on page 2. So you'll notice that the green pieces are represented here and here. The peach colored pieces are represented here and here. The blue colored pieces are represented everywhere where you see a blue piece. Okay, and so it makes it very easy to follow from that standpoint visually. It also makes it easy to follow because each of these pieces has the measurements that need to be cut to make that piece, and then also they're designated with a letter that corresponds to an area on the cutting guide. So you can see piece A is going to go here, piece B is going to go over here, and then that helps you to create your copy of this project accurately. Many advisors will recommend that you get a pack of post-it notes, a stack of post-it notes, and layer them with all of the different letters, A on one, B on the next one, C on the next one, and then as you cut each piece, you just take the post-it note off and stick it on that piece, and then you know exactly where that piece is supposed to go, because when you see piece J is still floating around on your desktop, you can go, oh, where is that supposed to go? Oh, it's supposed to go right here. Okay, so it makes it very, very easy. And when you are just starting out, I recommend that you do that. It is much easier and helps you keep track of all your pieces, because there are a lot of pieces once you get everything cut out. I typically will go ahead and choose my papers a little bit based on the sketch and based on the example of the layout that I'm shown. So you can see that they are using a lot of high contrasting colors. Their two main papers, Designer Paper 1 and Designer Paper 2, are represented here as the base under these photos. And you can see there's a really high contrast between the darker one, the darker reddish one that's on this side on the right, and the lighter blue one that's on the left. And those two even contrast more with the base paper that they've chosen to use, which is kind of a tan off-white color, beige. All right, so all of those things tell me that whatever papers I choose, I need to make sure that these two papers have a lot of contrast and that both of them contrast from the back. Okay, so that means that I'm not going to choose 3 medium blue papers to do this layout with, because in addition to the medium blues blending with each other here, they'll blend into the background here, and I don't want that to happen. I want them to stand out and hold their own in the design. So I'm going to choose a light, I'm going to choose a medium, and I'll probably choose a completely contrasting color for the background. Also, I'm doing that because in addition to those two designer papers, we're going to be using navy cardstock. At least that's what's recommended here. So I'm going to not want to use one of the dark denims, because the navy cardstock will get lost on a dark denim piece. We won't see it. So it won't have as high an impact as I want it to have. As you can see, it's super easy to see right here between this light blue and the beige of the background, because it's super dark. And if we used a dark denim piece here, that would get lost. So things to keep in mind as you're considering. All right. In addition, I just want to point out that a project recipe is designed for its collection. Yes, so this is the Denim Revival project recipe. It's designed to go with the Denim Revival collection. However, if you don't have the Denim Revival collection, you can still use this project recipe with any collection that you do have and make it look just as cute and nice, and it will come out fantastic, because project recipes are designed to be used with any collection. They may have a title, and that's simply so they can keep track of which one is which, but they definitely are not exclusive for this collection. If you're going to use a different collection than Denim Revival for this, then you might want to consider changing the cardstock color to something that will match the collection that you do choose to use. And I would, since navy is such a dark color, I would suggest that whatever cardstock you change it to match the collection you're using, that you might want to choose something that is on the dark side, like the cranberry red instead of the bright red, or the dark green instead of the lighter green, that kind of thing. Maybe the eggplant purple instead of lavender. Just a suggestion. You can do whatever you feel looks best and complements your layout. But I would probably lean towards using something dark, since they've used something dark here. All right, let's choose some papers and get ready for tomorrow. So I need 2 designer papers and 1 sheet of navy cardstock. And what I've done, and this is what I typically will do, is with a new pack of paper, I will go through and do exactly like they've got here, because we get 2 papers of each design. And so I will go and flip one of them over so that I can actually see all of the papers at once. And then that way it lets me get a better idea of what I have to work with. This, by the way, is the base color that they used for the contrast in the project recipe. I know in my printout of the project recipe it looks very, very red. Here it looks more like a dark, I don't know, it looks more brown to me, but with a little bit of a red hue, but not as much as in the photos. So I don't know if maybe my printer was printing things a little bit different or what. But anyway, nevertheless, I need a light blue, so not this one and not probably this one, although we might be able to use this one since it has such a varying pattern. I don't want a dark blue, so I'm going to hide this one. I don't want, let's see, I don't think I want this one because it is more of a leaning towards the dark hues as well. So that leaves me with these. I need a base paper, and I like this one right here. I'm pretty sure this is the one they used in the sample. And sometimes it's hard to get away from what you see in the sample, but I really do like the contrast that it affords everything in the pack. We could try just to see what this one would look like with everything. We could use this one just as an alternative and see how that turns out. Let's do that. We'll use that one for the base part of our layout. And then I'm really liking this one for the variance that it gives, and that it's a lighter blue. And I think we need one that's going to have a little more blue to it. Maybe this one. What do we think about these three? I think those will work for what we want to do. Okay, so these are the three we're going to use for the layout that we're going to put together tomorrow. It does say that we should use this one. We should choose two matching ones as our base sheets. And yes, normally I would just go ahead and do that, but because with this pattern we are only seeing the base sheet on the top and the bottom, I'm strongly considering only using one piece of paper and welding those pieces on, because otherwise I'm kind of wasting two full sheets of paper and then covering it all up again, especially if you're going to add this onto a page and rather than slipping it into a sleeve. That's a lot of paper there, and I don't know if I really feel like that's necessary. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'll think about it more tonight before I do this up for you tomorrow. But I think I'm going to attempt to just weld this, and that'll give you an alternative if you want to try that too and save some paper. Because what's on the back of this one? Oh, that's that really nice, that's this sheet. So I really don't have an option. If I want to use this sheet and this as a base, I have to do it that way. Okay, well then I guess that makes our decision up for us, doesn't it? Once we have our pages selected, like we are ready to do that now, or the pages we've got now, then we need to go in and we can look here on page 1 of our project recipe, and it will give us step-by-step instructions of what to do and how to do it. And our project recipe page 2 tells us all the ingredients that we need, and optionally what we could add to make it even more fun, and then also the sizes of the photos that they used to complete this project. Now the sizes of the photos can be altered as long as you know ahead of time what you need, and then you have to kind of decide here, okay, these two mats could be made a little bit wider if needed, and it will not seriously affect your layout because it'll just make these mats taller. And so if you need to, you could adjust the size of these mats and make them more like a 4x6 if necessary. But alterations like that are things you can think of, and especially if you notice that there's extra space available on the paper that's not going to be cut. All right, so consider that as you are designing and thinking about what papers you're going to use and what pictures you want to use on your page. After that, we get into all the embellishments that you get to choose and punching the borders that go on here, which you could probably use a different border maker cartridge if you want to, but it will tell you exactly which tool to use to create exactly this project recipe. So if you want it to look just like this, then you follow the instructions down here. And if you want to make alterations and use a different punch for a different look, then you can do that, because you are the maker and you get to choose. All right, well, let's see here. We also need to choose some pockets, because you can see we've got 3 pockets over here, and we have 6 pockets we can choose from. And you'll notice that in the sample here, it looks to me like they've replaced the button with a different button, because that button looks like it's got red, and I don't see another button on here that has red. So I think that's interesting. It's probably a sticker to match, which is cool because we've got a lot of red going on in this layout. And our sticker sheet does have alternative buttons. See? Actually, I don't see any of them that are red though, so maybe it's just an optical illusion. Anyway, so we'll choose 3 of these pockets to use. Probably not either of these 2, because these are designed with the flap, and we don't want the flap. We want to be able to go ahead and just put our photos directly into our pocket, though they did use this one, so they must have glued it down and then slit this, cut that, and so that you could just use the pocket without the lid. Okay, well, something more to think about and consider. I suppose you'll just have to tune in to my video tomorrow and see which of the pockets we decide to use. But I hope that helps you learn a little bit more about project recipes, and I hope you'll tune into my video tomorrow to see how we put this one together, and I'll walk you through it. Thanks so much for joining me. Until next time, I hope you have many more creative moments.